I was 96 years old when I finally forgave my father, and by then he had been in the ground for nearly 30 years. My name is Edward Callahan. I'm 96, and for most of my life I told myself I had made peace with the man who raised me. The truth is, I had only learned how to live around the anger. When people reach my age, they expect you to talk about wars or lost loves or the secret to a long marriage. They don't expect you to admit that you spent 70 years misunderstanding your own father. But that is the weight I carried, quietly, like an old coat I refused to throw away. My father was not a cruel man, at least not in the way people usually mean. He never drank, never gambled, never raised a hand to my mother. He worked. That is what he did. He worked before the sun came up and came home after it went down. He spoke little. He demanded much. And he believed that love was proven by providing, not by speaking. As a boy, I did not understand that language. What I understood was the sound of his boots on the wooden floor when he came home, the way the house seemed to stiffen when he stepped inside. I understood the way my mother straightened her apron and the way I put away whatever childish thing I was doing. I understood that mistakes were not to be explained, only corrected. He rarely praised me. When I brought home good grades, he nodded. When I struck out in baseball, he said, "Practice more." When I told him I wanted to draw, he told me drawing would not feed a family. It wasn't said with cruelty. It was said like a fact, like winter. I grew up believing that I was never quite enough for him. When I was 17, I told him I wanted to attend college out of state. He stared at me for a long time, then asked who would help my mother while he worked. I heard only control in that question. I did not hear fear or exhaustion or responsibility. So I stayed. I took a job at the same factory where he had worked since he was a young man. Every morning we rode together in silence. That silence became the shape of our relationship. I married at 24. On my wedding day, he shook my hand. Not hugged me, shook my hand. I remember feeling embarrassed by him. Embarrassed by his stiffness, by his inability to say what other